Okay, welcome to One Look Megaminx OLL episode 14. Today we're going to be covering set 36, which is this one where we have this LEO and then an extra oriented corner adjacent to it, forming this top pattern. This set has 12 Algs, and I guess it's the worst set in terms of the combination of Alg speed, recognition difficulty, and ease of learning. I still don't think it's bad, like the Algs are sub 1 for me on average, but I would say it's worse than the other sets that we've covered, so that's why we're teaching it last. So this is actually the last episode of Megaminx OLL, or at least the last one where I teach new cases. I might release future videos where I show updated algorithms or discuss concepts around Megaminx OLL, but as far as the new cases that I teach in videos, this is it. So as always, all of the Algs that I mention will be listed down in the description, as well as links to a Megaminx OLL Trainer and my Megaminx Algs document, which contains all of the OLL and PLO Algs that I use and recommend. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So first up we have 36E plus and minus and 36B plus and minus. These are the cases that have a 2 sticker bar at the front here and nothing on the side, right? 2 sticker bar, nothing on the side. And to tell them apart, we look at the position of these headlights. So with the E cases, the headlights are in the middle of this like LEO, right? And with the B cases, the headlights are to the side of that LEO, or sort of on the opposite side from that oriented corner. So pretty straightforward, and then of course the plus and minus cases are mirrors. So reasonably easy recognition. I think the Algs should be easy enough to learn, particularly these first two. So what are the Algs? Well, this first one here, it's just a one move setup into 35D+, which we learned way back in part 3. So if you don't remember, that's just F double 6 F prime. So for this Alg, we're going to do it from this angle, with the oriented corner on the front left, and the Alg goes like this. L, F, double 6 F prime, L prime, right? So very straightforward, no real fancy finger tricks or anything, just, simple Alg, easy to learn. So that's 36E plus, and then for 36E minus, we're just going to mirror that Alg, which means it's just a one move setup into 35D minus. So for that one, we're going to do it from this angle, right, with that oriented corner in the very back, and the Alg will look like this. BL prime, with our middle finger, like that, then BR prime, back double 6E, BR, BL, right? Like that. So this is a really nice Alg. The finger tricks might seem a bit weird at first, but as you can see, it's super fast and super reliable once you are used to it. Next, we have 36B+. So for this Alg, we're going to do it from this angle, right? So we have that oriented corner in the back left, and the Alg looks like this. F, R prime, F prime, U prime, F, U, R, sexy. So the R cancels at the start of sexy to be R2, but I just think about it as 2 separate moves. And then R, U prime, R prime, F prime, right? Just like that. So this is probably a little bit harder to learn. It is kind of just basic RUF turning, but it's not really a setup to anything you already know, so it's just, a bit weirder, but it's still a decent enough Alg. Anyway, finally we have 36B minus. So I guess there's 2 decent options for this Alg. The first one would be from this angle, and it looks like this. Soon, R prime, F prime, U prime, F, U, R, which you can also execute as R prime, F prime with your left index finger, then U prime with your left middle, F, U, ring drag, R, which I find to be, a little bit faster. But yeah, it just looks like that. So it's just a combination of 2 OLLs you already know. So I think that's decent, but there's another option, which is from this angle. So that oriented corner in the very back, and would look like this. BR prime, U2 prime, R prime, U2 prime, RU, R prime, U2 prime, RU, BR, right? Just like that. So I personally find this to be a little bit faster, but because they're from different angles, I tend to use both of them. And the difference between them is practically negligible, so just try them both out and see which one you prefer. You could also mirror this Alg for 36B+, because that would make it an RUF Alg, but I think for that case, the Alg that I showed is significantly better. So you can try it, but I would still recommend, for most people, using the Alg that I showed. Anyway, that's 36E and 36B. And next up we have 36A plus and minus and 36F plus and minus. So as you can see, these are the cases that have these 3 sticker bars on the side, right? And then to tell them apart, we're once again going to use headlights. So 36A, well, the 36A cases have headlights in the back here, right? And then the 36F cases have no headlights in the back. So pretty easy to tell them apart, in my opinion, and the plus and minus cases are mirrors, as always. So that's the recognition. As for the algorithms, this first one here, 36A+, we're going to do from this angle, so with the oriented corner in the front right, and the algorithm looks like this. F, U2 prime, F prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, U2 prime, R prime, F prime, R. So just like that. So it's not the most ergonomic RUF algorithm ever because of that sort of reload near the start, but it's pretty short and should be pretty easy to learn and execute. So that's 36A+. For 36A-, we're going to do it from this angle, so with that oriented corner in the back left, and the algorithm looks like this. R, U, R prime, so I push that U with my left index finger, and then U2, sledge, R, U2, with the left index finger again, R prime. Just like that. So this is actually the inverse of 19C- that we learned the other week. So if you know that, hopefully that'll help in learning this one. But if not, it's still a pretty short, pretty basic RUF algorithm. So it should be easy enough to learn, I think. That's the 19E cases. For 19F, well, for this one, 19F+, there's actually a few different options. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them listed in my document down in the description. So if you don't like that one, then check the document out and see if any of the other algs work better for you. But I'm just going to show you the one that I use because it would take too much time to show all of them. So the one that I use is from this angle, right, with the oriented corner in the very back, and the alg looks like this. R, U2 prime, R2 prime, U2 prime, then R, U prime, R prime, U2 prime, F, R, F prime, right? Just like that. So it's not the fastest algorithm in the world, but I think it's reasonably easy to learn, and there's enough options for this case that hopefully you can find one that you do like, if that one there is in your style. So yeah. Finally, we have 36F-. So this one I do from this angle, and it's actually just a one-move setup into 32B-, which we learned a few weeks ago. If you don't remember it, that is... Actually, I'll just set it up here. That is this algorithm here, or this OLL here, which we solve with this 3x3 OLL transfer. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an F prime from this angle, and then that OLL, so R, U2 prime, R prime, sledge, R, U2, R prime, and then just finish off with an F, right? So very easy to learn algorithm, assuming you already know 32B-, but because that's a 3x3 transfer, you probably do know it. Yeah, done a bit faster. I messed it up apparently, but yeah, there you go. That is 36F-. And then finally we have 36D +/- and 36C +/-. So the D cases are the ones that have these two sticker bars, right? And then the C cases have this one 2-sticker bar that's across from that oriented corner, right? Like that. Rather than being adjacent to it as the E and B cases were. So pretty straightforward recognition. These cases look very different, but they are just the last 4 remaining cases, I guess, from the set. So I've just grouped them together because of that. But they do look very different, and then the plus and minus cases are, of course, mirrors. So these cases should be pretty easy to recognize. As for algorithms, this first one here, 36D+, we're going to do from this angle, right? So with that oriented corner in the back right. And the algorithm looks like this. R, U2 prime, R prime, U prime, hedge, R, U2 prime, R prime. So the hedge cancels into R, U2 prime, R prime to become R2 between the two moves. Just like that, right? And just very basic RUF finger tricks and basic triggers, so it should be very easy to learn. So that's 36D+. 36D-, we're going to do from this angle, so the oriented corner in the front right, and the algorithm looks like this. I regrip, so my thumb's on top, and then do R prime, U2, R, U2 with your left index finger, R prime, sledge, so again the R prime and sledge cancel, so it's R2 prime, and then U, R, right? So R2 prime there, U, R. So just like that. So reasonably fast algorithm, and should be pretty easy to learn, because again, just basic RUF triggers. Although not quite as basic as it's a mirror, admittedly. Anyway, for these C cases, the algorithms are a little bit weird, particularly C-, but this 36C plus case we're going to do from this angle, so with the oriented corner in the very back, and the alg looks like this. R prime U prime R, U2 prime R prime U, F prime, which I push with my right hand, then U F U R, right? Just like that. So it's a little bit awkward, but you know, reasonably fast once you are used to it. And yeah, it's not an amazing alg, but it's the fastest one that I found for this case. If you find something faster, feel free to let me know, but that's the one that I recommend for now. Anyway, its mirror is the really quite weird one. So this one's going to be from this angle, and we just use the mirror alg, which ends up looking like this. R U R prime, U2 R U prime, and then BR U prime BR prime, which we push with our right index finger, then U prime R prime. It's just a bit weird because that BR prime push is one that we don't often see, but it's a reasonably fast alg once you are used to it. Just like that. If I don't mess it up, there you go. Anyway, it is admittedly a bit of a weird finger trick, and that push move is quite hard to do if your hardware isn't very good. So alternatively, what you could do is start off the alg the same way, but then when you have to do those BR moves, rotate instead, and finish it off with R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, right? So that would look like that, which I don't personally recommend because I think it makes the alg slower, but if your hardware is sort of bad and doesn't let you do the good alg, then that's what I'd recommend doing. Anyway, that brings an end to set 36 and an end to the One Look OLL videos. After this, I'll publish a video showing my thoughts on dot or one edge OLLs, I guess. And then after that, a sort of addendum video showing some algs that I kind of missed throughout the series. But if you've stuck with these videos so far, then you can now do One Look OLL. So congrats, and that's it for today. Bye.